if you measured success by lives touched instead of money earned, how successful would you say you are?
Oh, definitely lives touched. I mean, I work for a tech company. I wish I could be making more money
Yeah.
and earn more financially. But I think what actually moves me the most
Yeah.
is lives touched, especially when I see people that I've either mentored
Yeah.
or engaged when they were much younger and seeing where they are today. That delights me to no end.
Yeah.
That I talk to people about all the time.
Yeah.
We had an event here last week in Dubai, and I had a moment like that at that event
Yeah.
that till today just puts a smile on my face as to, you know, things that you do, you don't know that you're actually impacting other people.
Yes.
And when they actually mention that to you that you did,
Yeah.
it's there's no amount of money that you could pay me that will make me feel as good
The same.
as that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Welcome once again we're currently on episode 7 of the Grace and Glow Up podcast. And let me tell you, personally, I know I said this before that I'm excited that I get to do this and I'm consistent this time round. For those who've been on this journey with me, we tend to fall off along the way. But I'm glad that I get to do this and share the insights and information with you. If you're new to the channel, my name is Ivy Cachero. I'm the host of the podcast. And I've started this journey sharing insights, knowledge, wisdom with the intention to get people to glow up, primarily in context to the glory of the kingdom of God. Today, I did something a bit different. I have a friend, a gym buddy, and let's just say a lot of other things that I think he'll introduce himself with, but I'll give him an opportunity to introduce himself. We are having a very interesting episode today. I'm learning from someone who's walked a journey that I am on, and I'm hoping that, you would learn a thing or two. Well, whichever way, learn a thing or two, be encouraged, edified, educated. And so without further ado, the one and only, Mr. Dele, Akinsade. Please introduce yourself to my audience.
All righty. Thank you so much, Ivy. I'm, first of all, pleased to be here as your lucky 7 for the 7th episode. So I pray with your hard work and your preparations that you've done that there will be many, many more episodes that you'll have.
Thank you.
My name is Dele Akinsade. I'm a Dubai resident. Nigerian, American, and I enjoy what I do from a career standpoint. I enjoy my life. I have a family and parents, kids, etc. Mm-hmm. So I'm pleased to be here and looking forward to the conversation that we're going to have.
Career. You just said career. You enjoy your career. What is your career?
I'm I guess what you would call a tech bro, but an older tech veteran. I've been in the industry for over 30 years. I've gone through different changes within the tech scene, from the PC era now into the AI era. Worked across different industries, across many continents. And I still get motivated and excited about what I do. I get excited about people that I meet, that I've met throughout the journey, and people that I continue to meet till today. So it's been very rewarding at the same time, and I'm blessed and thankful for the journey so far.
Nice. The reason why I had to emphasize tech, because you guys know I'm in tech, so that's the other reason why I feel like we tend to have a lot in common. So another reason why I have him on the podcast. So the idea, with the idea that I had in mind with having Dele on the podcast, based off his introduction, and you can see with his gray beard, you guys can imagine there's wisdom coming. I put us across a couple of questions. so that I could sort of pick insights and wisdom from career perspective, personal, relationship wise, and hopefully based off that we could get something. So I'll start with a random question that is not within this, just to sort of an icebreaker.
Okay.
And my question is, what is one thing that people assume about you that is not true?
One thing.
One thing.
There are many things that people assume about me
That's not true,
that is
yeah.
not true. And it varies over the years.
Okay.
People think I'm Jamaican. I don't
Oh,
know
what?
how.
But you can't.
That's one thing that always surprises me. People think that I look like certain celebrities, especially here in Dubai.
Oh, like who? Name drop.
Some people think that I look like Samuel L. Jackson. I don't know where that comes from. It's happened in the presence of many people,
Oh,
even my
really?
kids. Yeah, but more importantly, when I tell people what I do, people are a little bit surprised or taken aback when I tell them I'm in tech, because I don't look or act like a traditional tech
Tech bro.
person. I don't know what
I
that
don't know what
look
that looks
is
like
supposed
either.
to be like. But usually when I engage with them or they hear me speak or they read up about me, then it's mind blowing to some of them as to what it is that I do. But other than that, there's really nothing that drastic as to what people assume
It's
about me.
because most times when I've asked people these questions, it's usually like the most random stuff. It's like one lady shared one interesting view is like, oh, people think that she's not emotional, but because she always comes off as very bro-like. But yeah, there's
Yeah, I
that.
mean, one thing people do say is that I don't get rattled.
Are you like the nonchalant?
No, not that I'm nonchalant. The way I process things here
Yeah.
is a little bit different. It's more internal than external. So the whole room could be burning around me,
And you
and
just
I'm just
chill.
focused on what needs to be done. So I try to stay focused and relaxed, and think before acting. And I think a lot of that has to do with just experience. I wasn't like that before. So over time, I've learned to just deal with things, especially if having grown kids
Yeah.
and been through different situations. You learn that whatever it is that you're going through is nothing new. It's
Yeah.
happened before to somebody,
Yeah.
and they've gone through it and survived it. And learning from that, you should be able to do that as well. So that's one thing that about me that I like. I actually do like it. That I'm very
Okay.
calm about things.
Great.
Yeah.
So on to the questions. I hope you
Okay.
guys have picked a few things. On to the question. The first question I have is, since we're talking career and we've discussed that you're already in tech, am I supposed to say which company?
Yeah, you can. I mean, people are
Yeah.
going to look it up anyway. So,
So because we've seen the evolution of Microsoft, and you've been in Microsoft for a long time. One of the things I wanted to ask in hindsight, because you've got a lot of people who are dreaming of, I want to join like the big tech companies, Microsoft, Google, AWS, and the likes. Do you feel like at this point in your career, because you've been there for a long tenure, do you feel like at this point in your career, your work, end to end has made a lasting impact, or were you just busy? And if you felt like it has, how did you make your work feel meaningful as opposed to it just being a job?
meaningful to me or
Yes,
just
to you, and just how you find meaningful is to you, basically.
Yeah. I mean, to me, a lot of times I don't even take it as a job. I think it's more of a passion. So I'm never bored. I'm never tired. I'm always excited
Yeah.
about work.
Yeah.
Maybe about work and also of the company that I work for.
Yeah.
That's given me the opportunity to be able to do things that are impactful.
Yeah.
So I don't think, I mean, maybe I could have had a similar experience elsewhere,
Yeah.
but I don't think so.
Yeah.
And working at Microsoft wasn't even a goal for me when I started out.
Okay.
But I guess people that recruited me saw something in me because when I was younger, I was very inquisitive. I always wanted to know things. I was kind of like that kid in class. I was always raising his hand when a teacher asked questions, because I was very motivated to learn and I wanted to know everything. So I think working at Microsoft has given me the opportunity to have tremendous impact that I never thought I will have. It's impacted me personally, and also with the job that I do, the outcomes that I see, and is even motivating me as to what I want to do next. When my journey at Microsoft ends, and whatever I do next is going to be based on the impact that I feel I've had working at Microsoft.
Based off what you just said, I've just thought of something, because I usually say this. One of the key things when I'm mentoring people that I say people need, like in tech, is curiosity, because with the constant evolution, because you said you joined Microsoft desktop days, and now we are now in the AI era. If you, with a lack of curiosity, one, it wouldn't have been as exciting, because then it would have been tedious, and then at the end of the day, you would have become sort of like irrelevant very fast, because there's no growth.
For me, I'm always learning. I always like to know what's going on. I always like to stay ahead as to what's going on. And that's how it all started for me. Even when I started at Microsoft, I was doing other things that were not necessarily my primary job, because I wanted to know about other areas. So even now, with the evolution of tech, normally somebody at my capacity should just be chilling out and relaxing. But I'm constantly trying to learn what's coming up, because I feel that there's still more to come. It's not going to be AI now. That's what we're talking about now. A couple of years from now, it could be something else.
Absolutely. Okay, so a question. If you measured success by lives touched instead of money earned, how successful would you say you are?
Oh, definitely lives touched. I work for a tech company. I wish I could be making more money and earn more financially. But I think what actually moves me the most is lives touched, especially when I see people that I've either mentored or engaged when they were much younger, and seeing where they are today. That delights me to no end. That I talk to people about all the time. We had an event here last week in Dubai, and I had a moment like that at that event that till today just puts a smile on my face as to, things that you do, you don't know that you're actually impacting other people. And when they actually mention that to you, that you did, there's no amount of money that you could pay me that will make me feel as good as that.
So I guess that answers the other questions. Because I was going to ask, did you feel at some point you chased security more than at the cost of purpose at some point in your career? When you were either because you hadn't figured it out yet?
When I was younger, security was important. This was even pre-Microsoft days. I was young, newly married, had kids at the time. So for me, it was more security. That was the top of mind. But as I've grown along in the journey, security is still there, but not as much. Because even with security, I know that with the skills and the experience that I have,
you could make it back.
There are different things that I can get into that will still make me fulfilled in what it is that I want to do.
So I know that because there's something you did mention in the intro that I know has a lot to do with what's purposeful for you, because I know you run a foundation. Care to share why the foundation, keeping in mind that you have a job, why the foundation, what does that mean to you? Because you've mentioned that's how you feel fulfilled in terms of giving back and mentorship.
Thanks for bringing that up, and I need to smack myself for not mentioning it in the intro. So a very big part of the fulfillment that I get from doing what I do is reflected in what I've been doing for the past 5 years through the foundation.
Okay.
So I'm a strong believer in Africa.
Okay.
I'm a strong believer as to the potential of Africa. And with my journey within the company, some people see me as an advocate for Africa causes within the company because I believe in the potential of it. I've been
The
there.
region. Yeah.
I worked in the U.S. for many years. I was born, grew up in the U.S., but I've also lived in Africa, and I see the potential there. And I see the next 50 years, next 100 years is going to be the continent's time.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you observe is how young the population is and the potential that young population has in terms of learning and skilling is just there.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I did was prior to my foundation, I have some friends back in Nigeria where we used to do a scholarship for kids.
Okay.
So this was not industry or education focus per se. But that kind of gave me the idea that, okay, these things are actually possible. And there was a side project that I worked on at Microsoft with the proposal to bring the Africa Development Center to Lagos and Nigeria. And during that process that we went through trying to recruit engineers, and some of the other things that we were doing were trying to work on our gaming strategy when it comes to games in Africa as well. You then come to realize that a lot of people that you meet are mostly male. You rarely see any females in the audience. And there was a trip that we made. This was just to come and talk to the gaming companies.
Yeah.
And pretty much, maybe we met with 30 or so gaming companies in Lagos and Nairobi. And I believe only one of them was actually headed by a woman. And we were kind of taken aback by that because you look at the population is more than 50% women. When you look at the consumers who are actually going to be using this, you need to get some insights and inputs from females. And that led me to work on, okay, how do we get more females into the tech space? And you now start to look into that, okay, the problem is actually deeper than that because even in universities, most women don't go to take STEM courses. Even from high school, they're directed to go to other type of courses. So we decided that, okay, we're going to look at the foundation. We're going to prioritize girls starting from high school. So meaning that they have to be doing STEM courses. We will pay for their tuition, we'll pay for their books, uniforms, bags, shoes, etc. From senior high school. And then if they get admitted into university, we'll also pay their way through public university, as long as they're also studying STEM courses as well. So that's kind of the whole idea. It started small, it's slowly growing. The more emphasis and focus we have, we expect that it's going to get much bigger. And hopefully in that little way, we're having some type of impact. Where when you start to see engineers in some of these companies, you find a very good representation of females in there.
One of the things I find the way you're sharing it exciting is that I've always said that a lot of these initiatives are always driven and by women, and it makes a difference when, for lack of a better way to put it, the superior party has the voice to raise the rest to come in, as opposed to, it makes a difference when a woman is on the table trying to get another woman on the table, as opposed to 50 men and one man tries to pull in an additional woman because they've got more, they have a solid voice at the moment. And so I've always been an advocate for, let's make sure that we're having these conversations around women in tech. I mean, because I'm really passionate about the subject as well. But let these conversations be done in parallel with men and not as if we're trying to sort of challenge a narrative. You know what I mean? And to be honest, Personally, I've been supported heavily, and I think I've said this over and over in multiple platforms. Majority of the people who've given me an opportunity, especially here in the Gulf, haven't necessarily been people who look like me, and haven't, so they've not been my gender, and they've not even been my nationality. And I take pride in realizing that, when you do the best of your ability, put in the work, and you align yourself with the right people, it's sort of, people like associating themselves with people who are doing great things anyway. So it'll always pave way. And it's the same, I think, even if you're trying to nurture young girls,
Yep.
it's the same. And if you look at, based off the data that you just shared right now, when I did an event about 2 years or so ago, there was the number of Africa has the highest population, highest number of women who are now getting into senior management positions, as opposed to, East Africa, as opposed to countries like Nigeria. And I would say the reason is based off the fact that you mentioned there are a lot of things that drive these things. There's a lot of cultural nuances, and you'll see specific countries. In Kenya, I see so many women in leadership, but you realize in certain countries you find, there are women in leadership with no voice. It's like their faces, but at the back end, they are sort of sponsored. But anyway, fantastic initiative. I honestly believe that it's something that I'd also want to plug into. But for those also who are listening, it's what's the name of the foundation? How do people get connected?
Yeah. So the name of the foundation is Dele Akinsade Foundation.
Yeah.
So we do have some content online. So deleakinshadefoundation.org.
Yeah.
So we do, we're going to start, so it's primarily driven, self-funded by me, but as we're getting bigger and we're also increasing our scope as to what we cover, we just signed a partnership, an MOU with the local university where we're going to have an IT hub there. And also some of the students, the science students in university, because it's a science university, they'll be part of the mentors and mentoring the kids at the hub as well.
Yeah.
So we're going to start raising funds hopefully this year, later on this year. So we would like to expand and go deeper with this. And then also looking, as it's been 5 years, so some of our students are now in universities.
Yeah.
We're going to be working with local companies, if they're looking for interns or anything like that, where they can start to onboard some of these kids, provide them with employment. One critical thing that we're doing with the local university is also around entrepreneurships initiatives. So they do have a department that's dedicated to that. That's another area that we're working with them on. So like I said, it's small, but the potential for it to grow massively is there. Yeah. And we want to be ready to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So sure. I guess if there are people who feel like they'd be solid contributors in any shape or form, also reach out to you.
Yeah. So they can reach out. I mean, other NGOs out there with grants that are, focused primarily at girls. We do have boys as part of it, but we prioritize girls because even some of the research that we do, when we look at the high school population in the area that we're doing, it's almost 50-50.
Yeah.
Right? Actually, it's mostly 50-50. So a lot of the boys are going to do science naturally. Yeah. That's what they're going to do. But some of the girls once they're done with high school, a lot of them, that's it. The education for them ceases. They become married. They go to the farm or whatever. So we're trying to make sure that their journey continues, so they can be, attain their dreams.
Yeah. Great. That's amazing.
Thank you.
So I'm just realizing this. My audience won't manage to hear everything I wanted to get out of you because I got so caught up in this whole giving back story.
Okay.
But at this point in your life, would you say, did you spend more money on things or experiences? And what's your take in hindsight?
Wow, that's a deep question. Did I spend more money on material things or
experiences?
or
And this question
experiences?
is in context to there's a story of a retired investor, and he said, I don't remember the luxury cars, but I remember every trip with my kids. So what lasts longer is
So,
possessions or memories?
I mean, I wish that I could say that
Yeah.
is more on the experiences and the memories
Yeah.
because I need to do more of that.
Yeah.
So this is just me speaking
In
personally.
hindsight, yeah.
That I wish I could do more. Now, I'm not going to use an excuse that my career prevented me from doing that.
Yeah.
It's just that you just keep putting things off, and then before you
Yeah.
know it, it's like
Time's
30
up.
years
Yeah.
over. Kids are grown
I
and
know.
everything. Or parents are older and everything. So now I'm beginning to think through that okay, I want to spend more time and do more things with family and experience that. So I wish that I could have I could say experiences.
Yeah.
Material things, there's just too much of it.
Yeah.
That after a while you wonder, why did I get
I
all
think
this
you're like,
stuff?
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm trying to reduce that side of me on
Yeah.
the materialistic side because we change, tastes of people
Changes also.
change, and there's no possible way that a lot of most of these things can be used.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I think it's better to just spend a lot of that time and effort on the
Experiences and
experiences,
memories,
and
yeah.
that's one thing that at least recently I've been thinking about, and plan to start to get into that.
Yeah. So it's so funny because I was having a similar conversation with an uncle of mine who's retired, and I was like, what does he wish? And he said the same thing. He was like, okay, he enjoys the little things now. He just wishes he didn't spend money on specific things like material stuff. And all I could think is, yeah, you can say that now because you already bought those things. Because, sometimes when you're younger, you feel like I need to experience first to realize that it doesn't satisfy. And when I think about it, even for myself, there are things that when I was, earlier on in my career, I was like, if I just get to buy this and if I can afford this, and then you finally afford it, and then you realize, then what? Yeah. It's such an anticlimax.
It's crazy. For a guy,
Yeah.
I have too many shoes, right? I'm not ashamed to say that, but it's bad. And there's some shoes that I have that I haven't worn in like 5 years. Maybe I worn it like twice. And I see them there. I'm like, why did I do this?
Yeah.
And
then you're still holding, and you're like, and I can't give them away.
Yeah, because one, my shoe size is different than most people. And so I think that's kind of the youth in me. The older I've gotten, I've started to like, okay, take it easy on that.
Yeah.
Spend more time with the people that mean a lot to you.
Yeah.
And enjoy those memories.
Interesting. So at this point in your life, what would you say if money wasn't an issue? How would you have spent your time?
I'm a nature person. I would just like to be on a farm somewhere or just go on a hike. Yes, on a hike.
Apologies.
I like to go on a hike just to experience nature.
Yeah.
And be removed from all the conveniences of the modern world.
Yeah.
Go to the village and just spend time with people there. Actually, and I'm actually going to be doing that in the next week or so.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I probably will be spending a lot of my time on. I've done all this stuff with the luxury stuff in the different cities and all of that stuff. It doesn't really move me as much. I think more now is just be with nature, be with my, I have elderly parents, just hang with them.
Yeah.
And, just connect.
I think we should add Masai Mara to your bucket list. Since you said you want to be removed from everything.
I haven't done the Mara, but I've done safaris.
Where?
But yeah.
Which safari did you do?
I've done Kenya. I've done safari in South Africa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
South Africa. Okay, but of course in Kenya.
Yeah, I don't want to get into the competition which one is better. But I've done both, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to switch to different aspects because
Sure.
one, we know me and you go to the same gym, and so when I met Dele, just for context, the Dele I saw and then the Dele that Dele showed me way before, I I I could not have said that's Dele because you went on this whole fitness and health transformation journey, and you've transformed a lot over the years.
Okay.
Why? Why for you? Well, I know generally why people do it. Why is it so meaningful for you now? Why do you stay committed to the whole fitness journey at this point in your life, actually?
So again, these are the things that if I were to give advice to a younger me is, don't let yourself get away when
Yeah.
you're younger, because if you want to live healthy and long,
Yeah.
there are certain things that have to be there. And I totally abused
Your youth.
myself when I was younger. But yeah, I started on this journey. It's been a long time coming for probably close to 10 years or so.
Yeah.
And, you get certain news
Yeah.
about your health
Yeah.
that if you don't change,
Yeah.
you could be in some danger, either
Life-threatening.
physically, that will impact you at a particular age. And if you don't want that, start,
Doing something about it now.
start doing something about it. So on and off, I started to do that. And then fast forward, I think before I moved to Dubai, I've been in Dubai now for 5 years.
Yeah.
I started seriously on that,
Consistently, yeah.
working out with friends when I was in the US. Started to see some changes. One of the other things that you don't want is to get injured.
Yeah.
Because that could set you back. I got injured when I moved to Dubai. That set me back. I fractured my back riding my bicycle. So that kind of set me back. And then once I healed and looked at things, I now started to, I had to invest in it because
Yeah.
my discipline was not there.
Yeah,
So I had
yeah.
to make sure I get somebody that can
Keep you consistent and
yeah.
accountable.
Exactly. So had a trainer, and it's been wonderful since then. So that has instilled that discipline in me.
Yeah.
Now where going to my happy place is the gym now. So it's not
Dele goes
anywhere
to
else.
the gym 5 times a week.
So I'm there in the morning, and I haven't been seeing somebody lately.
No, I go because I go on a later time. Because I go later now. Because
Okay.
well, I was on a specific regimen, so I was
Okay.
training in the afternoon at
Okay.
4 p.m.
So yeah. So but it's been and then seeing the difference, and
Yeah.
then obviously doing your physicals every year, and you're seeing the consistency
Yeah.
in improvement.
Yeah.
That will motivate anybody
Yeah.
to make, okay, you're on the right path, so just continue.
Continue.
So yeah, so it's also helped me in other areas of my life from a discipline perspective.
Yeah.
If I can do this with that, then why can't I do with other things?
Yeah.
So it's been very helpful in that regard. So it's something that I hope I can
Yeah.
continue to do. Hopefully I don't get injured. And so yeah, thanks for mentioning that.
Yeah, it's so funny because you said cycling, and you said you injured your back.
Yeah.
Because people, when you're part of the cycling group, I've just realized cyclists make this injury seem so minor.
Yeah.
Because guys are like, yeah, sure, but I'll be on the bike after 2 weeks.
Yeah.
When I had my injury as well on the bike, it took me like a while to go back.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I think once you get into the routine of when you realize how much physical transformation has to your entire well-being, the desire to want to do more just also increases because now you're like, if I did 1, 2, 3, 4 to get this, and I add 6, 7, I wish I could share Dele's before and after pictures so that you people have an idea of what I'm really talking about from a transformation point of view. But to add one more question around that, I was gonna ask you. So what would you say now other than fitness, what are other habits that you've now incorporated that sort of, because fitness is not just the gym, what are other habits that you're now being more intentional about to ensure that your transformation journey remains consistent?
Yeah, so obviously there are three components to it, right? What you eat, how you work out, and how you sleep. So those three things go together. So I sleep longer and better now. I am very focused as to what I eat. So that's also very important. I'm not the best when it comes to that either, because I don't eat that much. And then when I do eat, I sometimes will eat bad stuff that I have to pay for. So those three things, go hand in hand. But it has also, so that is helped me on those sides. I think that will be something that becomes a part of me is on the nutrition side, and also on just getting rest, prioritizing rest. So I don't do a lot of the extracurricular things that I might be doing before. So I make sure I go to bed at a decent time because I have to get up early to go to the gym. So those kind of things have helped. But transforming that, that has given me time to also focus on other things, especially as it relates to work. Because I now spend a lot of time indoors. So either doing my day job, which is work, or constantly looking at improving myself. So I'm always, especially when it comes to artificial intelligence, I'm always trying to get myself into anything and everything relating to that. So either I'm in the gym, I'm listening to a podcast on AI, or I'm at home, just relaxing. I put the TV on a YouTube channel and looking at that, or looking at business news relating to that. Before, those were not things that I will see myself doing. So I've kind of like taken a step back just to look at things as to where I want to be. And so it's been helping me in those areas, definitely.
And I would say, imagine, for people who are listening, especially if you're younger, because most people feel like, oh, when I finally get older and I'm a manager somewhere, I'm just going to sit back, relax, and just wait for the money to trickle in. But the reality is, that as you get older, you still also want to do more with life. The main aim of living long is not so that you can chill. It's so that you could have a more meaningful life.
There's still a lot to do. I'm up there in age, but I don't consider myself as old. And I know that there's still a lot that I'm going to do. I've been around for a while, but there's still many more years that I'm pretty sure that I'll be around for. And I want to make sure that those years are impactful in one way or the other to somebody or to some people.
So, I have two more questions so that we can segue out. And I'm sure, depending on the feedback that you guys give, I'll get Dele back. And I'd want to know what more you'd want to know from Dele, because there was a lot we were intending to unpack during the episode. But I've just realized 45 minutes doesn't do individuals justice. But I'm going to switch this to more on the love and relationship side of things to see how an analysis of yourself. What would you say is your love language? The top two.
So this whole love language, and I've just become aware of it very recently.
Oh, really?
Because back in my day, there was nothing like love language.
Oh, wow.
But I hear it, but I'm like, okay.
So do you want me to...
Giving gifts. Okay. I'm a gift person. So is easier for me.
But that's the language you communicate. Which one do you receive?
I think the last time I checked those, is it 4 or 5 things?
5. So there's...
I don't get anything.
No, for instance,
I don't care about any of them as to what I receive, because I'm not the type of person that's expecting, right?
yeah, but so the love languages are not about expecting. It's, for
Okay.
example, there's someone who, if you tell them, I love you,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't buy, if you tell them, I love you, and spend the day with them, they feel loved.
Time.
There's another person who, if you tell them the same, they're like, but if you did, you'd spend money, you'd buy me a gift, right?
Correct.
So
Gift.
it's not the fact that, it's not that, it's the way we've been nurtured. So how you, which one clicks for you more? So it could be as when I get home and my wife makes me a nice meal, and I feel I feel special. So it's not that it must be done. It's just that when this is done, it speaks volumes,
I'm a very simple person. Very simple.
guys.
And none of these things really
Oh, really?
move me. Yeah, I've read through the whole thing because I wanted to, because I kept hearing it.
Oh,
I'm like,
okay.
hey, what is this thing? Because I don't think I've experienced it in my life, and I don't think I've missed anything. So all my life,
Oh, wow.
in my 5th decade,
Yeah.
I'm being frank. If any of them are being done,
Yeah.
it's cool. Even if they're being done, I may not even know they're being done, because I'm thinking that, okay, it's normal,
Why am I
right?
so shocked? Oh, really?
Yeah. So,
So in
but
the,
I don't
yeah.
mind spending time. I
Yeah.
don't mind giving gifts. I don't mind doing other things. I don't mind doing
So
any of
which one
those
do you
things.
communicate with more? So in the languages there are 5, yeah, but like when people do the survey, there's the one that, and they change, by the way. It's not that they're fixed, they
Okay.
change. So like a woman who, when you're dating, and a woman when you're married, and a woman with kids married,
That's so complicated.
so what a woman needs when she's having a kid, your wife probably would not enjoy gifts then, because now what she's thinking is, you're spending money. It's our money. It's not the same as when you were younger and you were dating, and you spending money was like, so what would you, if let me simplify it. If you met a lady today and you were wooing this lady, what would be the things you do?
I will be myself.
Ah,
I will be myself. I don't want to be somebody I'm not.
but who is Dele then?
What I
That's
just
it.
told you.
This is it.
All of these things.
Mm.
I'm not a checkbox kind of guy when it comes to romance. No, I just let things happen naturally. A checkbox, did he do this? Is he that? Is he that?
Doesn't
That's not natural to me. That is going by some
book.
thing
Yeah.
that's in vogue at the moment. As you
Yeah.
said, these things change.
Yeah.
10 years from now, it could be love's whatever. So I just go, I'm very natural. I'm very simple. I'm very easy. I'm very easy to please.
Yeah.
And because I don't overthink these things. I don't
In me,
overthink
I'm an
it.
overthinker. You see the questions I'm asking? It's because in my
Yeah.
world,
And you
man,
need to calm down.
everything
You need to
everything
relax.
is connected. Everything is connected.
No, I mean, the most important thing is two people loving each other,
Yeah.
genuinely love each other. And
Yeah.
if that is there, both parties will know.
Yeah.
You don't need a language for it to be communicated and continued to be expressed.
Yeah.
If you love somebody, if you're in love, you would know.
My dad said that, like, when one person gives love 100%, and the other one gives 70%, the person giving 70% will constantly suffer, because the 100% is going to pull you until they receive 100, because they can tell that they are not receiving 100%, and therefore the dynamic that actually works is where everybody is 100% in. And unfortunately, I feel like we live in a society where, because people have lacked trust, everybody feels like people are out to get them, and they have to self-preserve.
It's sad.
Yeah, so people tend to, reserve a bit of themselves just in case, stuff doesn't work out. But for me, I'm in on with you on the, I'm willing to give 100%. If my 100%, basically doesn't serve you, I've got no losses because I give the best. I believe in giving excellence in everything.
Yeah.
And even in love, it has to be the
People are
same.
people are scared of failure.
Yeah.
And they're trying to do everything they can to protect themselves from failure.
Yeah.
But if you really want something and you like something,
Yeah.
you'll go for it. Because
Yeah.
if you don't go for it and you never get it, you're going to keep regretting it. That,
Yeah.
okay, I should have done this. Maybe if I did that, it would have helped.
Yeah.
So.
So last question. If you were to give someone life advice on the show right now, someone who's watching, what's the one thing you would tell them?
Yeah, so the advice I will give, and this might be too cliche, and it's true, you just have to, as long as you're real with yourself, you're real with your circumstances, you're real with your objectives, don't go below what you expect of yourself. I got this advice from one of our senior leaders at Microsoft when we were working on the Africa project. And she gave us an advice that you guys have very big, bold ambitions. People are always going to try to bring it down. Don't go down. Believe in what you believe in. If it's not going to be done, you have nothing to be embarrassed about by walking away from it.
Yeah.
And because at that time we were at a crossroads, that's okay. Maybe we're asking for too much.
Too much, yeah.
But we went ahead and asked for everything, and we weren't surprised, but we were happy that we did get what we were expecting, what we're looking for, what we're asking. And I've seen that's in the professional side, and I've seen that happen even on the personal side as well.
Yeah.
Is stick to your guns. Don't ever settle for less. Don't reduce your demands. Just as long as you believe in it, you have the information, you've done your research, you've done your work, it's gonna come out right.
Yeah.
And that's what I always tell people, that don't ever, and most of my life I try to live that.
Yeah.
I truly believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Dele, for honoring me on the pod. And for viewers, thank you for watching. I hope you guys have learned a thing or two. Care to share what your feedback has been on the episode? Go and follow Dele on LinkedIn, because I know Dele hasn't said a lot here, but he has a lot he's working on in the back end. So follow him on LinkedIn, and then follow him on socials. He posts some workout stuff as well on
my trainer did.
So feel free to follow his foundation, and let me know if you'd want to have him back, what information you'd want to get from him. It would be great to sort of also ensure that you guys get exactly what you want out of the guests. And so thank you for watching. Looking forward to see you in episode 8. And thank you for joining. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. It costs me money to do this, so help me pay the bills. Thank you.
Support your girl.
Yeah.